let me think. Like on your journey as well. Like how what what beliefs did you have to let go of? Like to enable you to be Emperor Khalis right now.
Okay, that was funny enough. That was killing of my old self. So
Easy.
no, but unfortunately, it kind of happened to me. Like okay, like okay, I'll actually give you like a good scenario. Like I'll tell you how it happened. For example, let's just say I was a disabled child. I was very dependent on my parents, for everything. Like I couldn't speak to my teachers. My parents would have to come in and speak to my teachers for me. I couldn't. The only thing I could do was order food. That was the only thing I could do when I was younger. Um, and then so let's just say I was very dependent, like super dependent on my family. Just a stereotypical life as a boy with disabilities. And then basically, family tragedy happened. A lot of betrayal happened, a lot of nonsense happened, and then it ended up like an act of evil. At least what I thought was evil at the time, ended up separating me from my mother. When I was about maybe 20 years old or something, 21,
Yeah.
or around roughly that age. And then uh, so like my whole world like got torn apart because like let's just say my parents were my world. My mom was my world. And
Yeah.
then I obviously every psychologist I went to just didn't get me, or just all of the stuff I was going through at the time. And then, but funny enough, it doesn't matter like what you're going through. The universe will always amplify it until you get rid of it anyway. You know. So, but basically, I was going around this whole journey, and the only thing that worked for me at that time was alternative. So, although my academic sort of advisors they put me down the whole counseling route, uh, and this was like when my whole world was falling apart. But I was obviously going to an alternative center at the time, uh, and then at this alternative center, I met a yogi.
Yeah.
So then, like, and at this time, like, I'm a brain trainer. This was like, I think I was 21, 22 or something. I was going through like loads of stuff. Like, I'm trying to showcase, if you give me someone who, let's just say, they don't have cognitive ability, I can give them the cognitive tools. Like if someone can't read, I used to pride myself on making them able to read. If someone was 5 years behind their age in terms of their mental ability, I would pride myself in making them on par with their age, like
Yeah.
because of the brain training which I did. And then I went into this sort of environment, and then there was this yogi on stage, and he came from like in an old video I said he came from the Himalayas, but this one was a yogi from India, like my first yogi. This was my first yogi, okay?
Yeah.
so like so like this guy gets on stage, he's like talking about, you know, your mind and this and that, and you can move the sun with your mind. You can move mountains with your mind. And I was like, okay, wow, man. Like in my mind at that time, as a cognitive skills trainer, I'm thinking, I'm just making people read and focus and remember. This guy's moving mountains. Wow. Like, I was I was like, okay, like let's see what this is about. And then so I got obsessed and like I was like I really want to learn like from this yogi, like because because of the way he was, he just seemed so infinite. Like literally, like he just seemed very infinite, like talking about like stars and planets, like they're like marbles that he plays with. And I was like, okay, wow, I want to see what this is about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then one day I didn't care. Like I was going through a lot of trauma. So I thought I booked a consultation with him. And I was like, whatever he wanted to sell me, I would have bought. Like easy, whatever, there's no problem. I
Easy.
just I want to have what you have, sort of thing, at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So then I go into this consultation with him. We spoke one to one, and then he's just like, And I'm telling him, I'm a boy with autism, and my mom got taken away from me. Da da da. Da. And then he's like, "These are your mom and your possessions. They are things that you have, but they are not you." And I'm like, "What is he talking?" Like, at that time, what the fuck? Like, how dare you not understand me? Like that's what I was thinking at the time. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, "These are your family. They are things that you have. They are not you." And I was like, okay, wow, what the hell is this about? Yeah. Um, but like because at that time I was reading a lot, and one of the books I read at that time was Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. So
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
concepts of losing your like losing like your
Your
identity and what you
attachments.
identify,
Yeah.
yeah, and the Buddhism stuff, yeah. As in, it all made sense to me because I was reading at the time. And then I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm a boy with autism. And then, like my mom got taken away from me because of an act of evil. And, like, and now I'm supposed to, like, be a brain trainer and like I'm meant to like be successful, but I miss my mom. I was like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then he was like, he said something like, "You are energy. And when you realize that you are just an energy, nobody can give anything to you and no one can take anything from you." And I was
Wow.
like,
That's
I'm
deep.
thinking, and I'm thinking, wow, like, at that time, my ego still wanted to fight him. I was just like, you don't fucking get it. I'm a boy with autism. My mom got taken away from me. And then, so I just found it like, I was like, I really hated that, like
Yeah.
he didn't understand my problem, but at the same time, I knew I wanted I just wanted what he had,
Yeah.
like I was like, and then like, so I was just like, okay, Soul, I don't care. I'll go on whatever yogi program you put me to. And then I was like, what will happen when I go through this yoga? Like when I come to learn from you, what will happen? And then he was like, I noticed that you have like he was like pointing out like how screwed up my back was. He was pointing out how screwed up my leg was. He was like, and he grabbed my thigh so hard and he squeezed it and I was screaming in pain. And he was like, "You see, this will no longer hurt you." And I was like, I was like, I'm sorry. So that long story short, that was my first yogi teacher,
Man, that
yeah.
was
And
amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so then that was like that must have been in like 2015 or something. But then like by going there like just by learning certain aspects of Kriya Yoga, it corrected a lot of my biological constraints, like with my back, and I noticed like like my knees got a lot better, all of that stuff, and then. Uh, So basically, this guy, I was like, yeah, I really want to learn from this guy. But then he got deported because he was working without a visa. And then I was like, oh no, like they took my yogi from me, like, and because I obviously knew him from the center, I knew him from the center I was going through. I didn't have his like direct contact, so like
Yeah. Yeah.
all of that. So that my first yogi got taken away from me by the authorities, yeah.
So it was your mom, then the yogi. Like what else?
Yes, and then obviously I pursued that path for quite a while, like the yogi path. Uh,
So
and
did you
yeah,
go
that
to
that
India
is
then?
life. Hmm?
So did you go to India then?
Later on, no, but I learned from a lot of like let's just
Oh,
say people.
yogi.
At that time I was living in Dubai, so yeah, whoever
Oh,
would visit and stuff. Like, because I look at Dubai as the place where the best of everywhere goes to Dubai to meet. That's the way I look at Dubai. Like,
okay.
let's say when you're there, at least in mainstream society, like the ones who really, like the best in their part of the world, they come to Dubai to like settle. The best from India would be there. The best from like let's just say the the, the Asias would be there. The
Hmm.
best from Germany. Like that's also how I got to study a lot of how different parts of the world do things. Especially growing up. Because growing up, I would have gone to like the best German doctor. I would have gone to the best American psychologist. I would have gone to the best, the way that. the best of how, let's just say, China does things, and it's all like, I mean, so like because of that, I think growing up in Dubai, it was kind of like I was just studying my whole life. Oh, how do different people do things? But
Amazing.
yeah, so that was, let's just say, that was the first part of losing my identity. Like the whole transcending the ego. It happened very naturally just by practicing like certain yogic paths. Um, and then later on, yeah, it got a lot further as well when I met a new teacher as well. Yeah.
So how it was like after you lost that yogi, like you were like still researching about yoga
Yeah,
and kriya yoga and
yeah,
techniques, and
yeah. So when the yogi left, I
you
went
were
more
pissed
down the.
off.
No, I didn't care. At that time, no one could take anything from me. I was an infinite whole being, that no one can take anything from me. No one could take my teacher from me because I had it all in me. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
then, so at that time, I was learning more the healing arts,
Okay.
like like the Reikis of the world, the Theta healings of the world, the quantum healings of the world. Uh, and obviously it spiraled off, after I had like the NLPs and the hypnosis, I just went to more, let's just say, the healing arts. So that's what I was spending a lot of my time with. And then that's where we get into a lot of other stuff as well. Like, for example, one of the ladies who taught me Theta healing is a different world, and it's a perfect gateway drug for this world. Yeah, like theta healing, it will proper like destroy many people's belief systems and help them overcome it. Because they're dealing with subconscious blockages. Uh, so I became a theta healer, and the lady who taught me, I was very like at that. Do you know like Esther Hicks? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yes.
Abraham Hicks. She was like that, but let's just say an Arab version of that. So like she was like a Middle Eastern version of
Okay.
Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks. Like to me, she was just out of this world. Like how do you like? I just could not. Like okay, like just seeing the stuff that she could do. Like if a client came to her with stuff which you're not allowed to say. I mean, like I found this out the hard way as well. Like like for example, I would see her. Let's just say someone had like a tooth problem, she would like correct it, like no dentist skills needed. Someone had let's just say cancer, like they would like what I mean, she would like give them like a remit, like let's just say a couple weeks later they would be like free, like on the scan. um and then one day she said, I'm going to see my teacher. And I was like, I wonder who her teacher is. And then and then I saw who her teacher was, and I ended up stalking this person on YouTube like for ages. Like I was like, I really want, like, because it was all fascinating to me. Like, and how come like I had all these questions as well, like, oh, why doesn't society just let these people be in charge of the hospital? It'll be so much easier and stuff. So then I went. Let's just say I saw this man in action on YouTube a lot, and then there was stuff like like literally on his website, it was just full of, let's just say, people in wheelchairs getting out, people with tumors being like, it's gone within like a day, it's gone.
Wow.
Um, so this is later on down the line. This goes into a lot of, let's just say, extraterrestrial technology. You're bringing a lot of off-planet frequencies to be able to achieve these results. Um, and the way I've seen it is that, like let's just say source is all that is, yeah. But in order to get something like a result like that in physical reality, you need to rely on a lot of galactic methodology, like that sort of technology. But okay, so long story short, I was stalking this man on YouTube and I got obsessed, and I was like, wow, this is like the answer to everything I ever wanted to know in my life. So, and then at that time, I was very much, I never went anywhere unless it was for work. Like if someone wanted me to train them, like I would go, or if someone wanted to be trained, like I would either be in London or Dubai my whole life.
Yeah.
And then this guy I saw that like he wasn't hosting any like workshops or anything, but he was hosting a workshop like in Holland. So I was like, I don't care. I want to go meet this person. So my first ever trip by myself, to go and see this person. And then I went there, yeah. And then this is where I got reintroduced to a lot of galactic and extraterrestrial stuff, you know? Because his way is like very sort of, you know. So I go there and I'm thinking, how the hell do you like cure cancer? How the hell do you get people out of a wheelchair? Like I'm thinking all of this stuff, and I'm thinking because obviously my background is I lost all of my family to cancer. I lost all of my family to like all of these disabilities and conditions, or at least growing up, you know, there was like, and even now, if you were to take a snapshot of 10 miles around my house, you would just see a bunch of people, you know, suffering from disability and illness. So I'm thinking, so I'm going there like very, how do you do this? How do you do this, Joe? And then like, he's like, he's like, relax, brother, you know, like just like, and I'm like, okay, like, you know, he like, oh no, like, so it was kind of like a weird, so basically, and everyone who was like, I found out later, it's like, you know, like, it was a very like Palladian thing, you know? But so like, there would be like a bunch of like people there who are like similar to him. And then I'll be like, how does he do that? How does he do it? How does he do it? And they look at me and they just go, and I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know? Like, how fucking like how rude are you? I'm asking you, like, I need to know so I can help my family. I need to know so I can help my community. And these people just laugh at me when I'm asking them very serious questions. You know, I'm just a kid with autism. I flew all the way here to learn this stuff. And these people are just laughing at me when I'm asking how the hell they do it, you know? And then, so that happened, like, and then funny enough, by the time the 10 days was over, I was like the same as them. I was like, everything makes sense now. Everything makes sense. Yeah. Like, at the
But
beginning,
like,
I was like, how? At the beginning, I was like, how rude are you? And at the end, I was like, I get it.
but
Yeah.
like, how what did you experience there? Like, how was the process? Like those 10 days. What were you doing? Like meditating
Yeah.
or whoa?
Okay. So his way is very much everyone will come to the answers when they're ready. Yeah. So like that's why if I ask him a question, he just goes and just walks past me, you know? So but basically I loved this guy's method of teaching, yeah, because